Imagine running a heavy AI language model from a laptop powered by a battery backup deep in the rural Indian agricultural belt.
Right.
And doing all of this just because you're waiting for a cosmic river festival that only happens, once every 12 years.
It is a wild scenario.
It really is. Today, we are attempting the ultimate geographic hack. Welcome to today's deep dive. We are jumping into a truly fascinating hyper-specific scenario sourced from a digital guide on right.as. The mission is this. You are a digital worker. Maybe you run AI tools, edit video, or create content, and you want to completely escape the urban grind.
Let's get entirely off the grid, or, well, a certain type of grid.
Exactly. You are looking to relocate to a nature-centric, ultra-low-budget lifestyle in the rural Godavari riverbelt of Andhra Pradesh, specifically a tiny village called Arikirevula.
Yeah.
And here's the kicker. You intend to pull off this entire lifestyle shift with a monthly rent budget of exactly 2,500 rupees.
That budget constraint is really the crucible of this entire experiment.
Yeah.
I mean, we are talking about roughly $30 a month. It forces a complete collision of worlds. You have this profound modern desire for an idyllic, calm, bird-filled nature retreat.
Oh, absolutely. The whole dream.
You want open skies and zero traffic.
Yeah.
But you are slamming headfirst into the harsh physical limitations of rural Indian real estate and, frankly, the absolute frontiers of digital infrastructure.
Yeah, you're attempting to graft a high-bandwidth, globalized tech career onto a traditional agricultural canvas.
Which is not easy.
No, it's not. Okay, let's unpack this. Is this hyper-specific dream actually realistic?
Well,
because before we even look at the floor plans of these potential houses, we need to understand the friction of just trying to find one.
Right.
Because on paper, Arikirevula is the dream. Like, if you look at the satellite views from the source material, it's this quiet village completely surrounded by green paddy fields.
Looks gorgeous.
It does. The air is clear, the noise pollution is basically non-existent, and you are just a stone's throw from the Godavari Riverside Ghats. Contrast that with a bustling, congested, exhaust-filled town like Kurnool, and it seems like a total no-brainer for a stressed-out tech worker.
Visually, it absolutely delivers. But the moment you try to actually manifest this move, you hit an immediate wall.
Oh, yeah.
Finding a rental in a village like this relies on a real estate market that is probably invisible to the internet.
Right, there's no digital footprint at all.
None. If you open a standard property app and type in, Arikirevula 2,500 budget, the map just goes completely blank.
Which feels so jarring to anyone used to the modern convenience of digital filters and instant virtual tours.
It is a shock to the system.
If the demand for cheap rent exists and the empty rooms exist, why does this market remain entirely offline?
It really comes down to the mechanics of the local village economy. These traditional rural homes, they were never built or marketed with a remote digital nomad in mind.
Sure.
A landlord in an agricultural village is typically renting out a spare room to a local farm worker, or maybe a family from a neighboring hamlet. So the rent is low, the margins are razor thin, and there is zero financial return on investment for that landlord to, learn how to navigate a real estate portal.
Let alone take wide-angle photos and cater to a tech worker from another state.
Exactly.
So you can't just Zillow your way into a pristine village retreat.
Right.
It requires actual physical legwork.
Right.
It reminds me of trying to order a secret menu item at a deeply local, old-school diner.
Oh, that's a great comparison.
You can't find it on a delivery app. If you don't physically walk through the doors, sit at the counter, and talk to the regulars who actually know the chef, you are completely locked out of the experience.
The source guide is absolutely adamant about this. You literally have to hit the pavement.
Right.
You have to utilize the human search engines of the village. That means striking up conversations with the Kirana shop owners, the folks running the local grocery stalls. You talk to the pan shop vendors, the teachers at the local school. These individuals function as the central nodes of information in an oral economy.
They know everything going on.
They really do. They know whose children recently moved to Hyderabad for college, leaving an empty room behind, or who just finished building a small extension on their courtyard.
Wow, okay. So let's talk about what that 2,500 rupee budget actually buys you once you find the right local node.
Okay.
Because the sources are very transparent that you are not walking into a modern studio apartment here.
Far from it. Traditionally, in the older parts of the village, that price point secures a 1 RK. So one room and a basic kitchen setup.
Okay.
Or perhaps just a partitioned section of a much older ancestral home. You were looking at a shared bathroom Or, if you're lucky, a small attached space with an Indian-style toilet.
Got it.
The paint will be simple whitewash. The floors will be basic cement.
And the source mentions you'll likely have an RCC roof-reinforced cement concrete.
Yes.
Which is a crucial detail, right? Unlike the older, picturesque terracotta-tiled roofs that can easily shift and leak during a heavy monsoon.
Oh, you do not want to deal with that.
Right. An RCC slab means you aren't scrambling to cover your laptops with tarps when the rains hit. It's a solid, permanent structure.
It is. But even with an RTC roof, those older village homes come with heavy compromises.
How so?
Well, they are deeply embedded in the historical layout of the hamlet, which brings us to a massive strategic pivot in the source material.
Oh, okay.
If those traditional clustered homes lack modern structural reliability, how do you find comfort on that same budget? The guide introduces this brilliant workaround targeting government housing schemes.
Ah, yes, the Jaganana Colony loophole. I was fascinated by this.
It's so smart. The guide specifically points to Jaganana Colony-1, which is part of the YSR housing scheme.
Right.
This is a massive state government initiative in Andhra Pradesh aimed at poverty alleviation. The goal is to provide lower-income families with pucca houses.
And in the Indian context, a pucca house is a solid, permanent dwelling, right? Built with high-quality materials like brick, cement, and iron rebar.
Exactly. As opposed to temporary mud or thatch structures.
And the source points out an incredible market inefficiency here. For our exact budget of 2,500 rupees, it is highly realistic to rent a brand new 1 BHK.
Yeah.
So that's a hall, a separate bedroom, a kitchen, and an attached bath. Sometimes even a 2 BHK in one of these newly built colonies.
The infrastructure leap is just staggering for the price.
Yeah.
The state has heavily subsidized these layouts. Beyond the solid RCC construction and tiled floors, you are getting individual electricity meters. You get piped drinking water or dedicated overhead tank.
That's huge.
It really is.
Yeah.
The state lays down internal cement roads, engineers proper drainage systems to prevent seasonal flooding, and even earmarks specific plots for future parks and primary health clinics.
It's wild. The source is so specific, they actually provide the map coordinates for one of these layouts.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's 17.041254 north, 81.71951 east. I looked it up on the map.
And what did you see?
It is this highly organized, rigid, grid-patterned layout sitting just slightly off the winding organic layout of the old Arakiravula village core, but it is completely surrounded by those lush agricultural fields.
Yeah.
But I have to push back here for a second.
Okay, go for it.
The entire premise of this deep dive, the reason you're leaving the city, is to escape the concrete jungle, right?
Sure.
To immerse yourself in a natural, organic environment. Moving into a highly structured, rigid, concrete government housing grid feels a bit, I don't know, dystopian.
I can see why you'd think that.
Doesn't living in a regimented colony completely destroy that peaceful, nature-centric vibe you were chasing in the first place?
What's fascinating here is how that exact planned infrastructure unintentionally creates the perfect physical environment for a remote digital worker.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to look at the physics of the environment, not just the aesthetics.
Okay, defend the grid for me then. Because government housing colony doesn't exactly scream digital nomad paradise.
Think about the physical geometry of an ancient traditional village. The streets developed organically over centuries. They are incredibly narrow, winding, and the buildings share thick walls clustered tightly together. From a technological standpoint, that dense, overlapping architecture is a total nightmare.
Ah, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah, a gigantic colony is engineered on a modern semi-urban grid. You have wide, straight cement roads. You have engineered drainage, meaning you aren't dealing with stagnant water pooling outside your front door during the rainy season, breeding mosquitoes.
And the open layout changes the tech capabilities, doesn't it?
Drastically. That open grid layout provides dramatically better line of sight for cellular towers.
Wow, okay.
Radio frequency waves, like the ones carrying your 4G data, they degrade and scatter every time they hit a physical obstacle. A dense cluster of old mud and brick walls just absorbs that signal.
Right, makes sense.
But a structured grid with wide roads allows the cell signal to penetrate much deeper into the neighborhood. Plus, the organized spacing between plots allows for significantly better wind flow and ventilation.
Which is crucial when you don't have air conditioning.
Exactly. You get the green paddy fields at the literal edge of the colony,
Right.
but you get the structural geometry required to keep a router actually connected.
Okay, so you are trading the romantic idea of a rustic winding village lane for the geometric necessity of cell tower line of sight.
Essentially, yes.
That makes sense. But having a concrete roof and a cement road outside only solves the shelter equation. We need to talk about the day-to-day operational reality.
Yeah, the daily grind.
Because you are trying to do heavy AI processing and social media uploading from an agricultural belt.
Requires a fundamental rewiring of your daily expectations.
Yeah.
The source accurately describes it as a basic but peaceful lifestyle.
Right.
You get the benefits, the early morning walks by the village ponds, the sound of actual birdsong instead of blaring car horns, and incredibly low cost of living.
Yeah.
But the friction of what is missing is substantial.
Oh, for sure. There are no massive air-conditioned supermarkets. There are no malls. If you hit a creative wall, there is no trendy, overpriced cafe to retreat to with your laptop.
Definitely no cafes.
There are absolutely no co-working spaces. And the medical infrastructure is limited to minor clinics. If you face a serious medical emergency, you are reliant on flagging down an auto rickshaw or taking a two-wheeler ride to the nearest major town.
And the utilities also operate on a completely different logic than a city dweller is used to.
How so?
Well, take the water supply. You might be relying on a local bore well, but if the house uses the panchayat tap system, you are living on municipal time.
Oh, wow.
The panchayat, which is the local village council, they control the main water valves. They release the water at fixed timings, maybe an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening.
That's it.
That's it. If you aren't awake to open your taps and fill your storage buckets or switch on the pump to your overhead tank during that specific window, you are simply out of water for the day.
That is wild. Then there is the electricity. Standard grid power reaches these colonies, but small, unexpected outages are a normal rhythm of village life, right?
Very normal.
And more dangerously for a tech worker, voltage fluctuations are practically guaranteed.
Which brings us to the core technical challenge. If your livelihood depends on running local AI models, maintaining SSH connections to remote servers, or uploading massive video files, a sudden voltage dip is catastrophic.
Right, because cheap power adapters on standard Wi-Fi routers will just shut down and reboot if the voltage sags.
Exactly.
So what does this all mean? How do you actually function?
You have to prepare.
Because you've got fluctuating power, timed water, and zero chance of getting a continuous, high-speed, wired fiber optic cable installed in your 2,500 rupee rental. How do you guarantee you won't be professionally stranded?
You have to engineer your own microinfrastructure. The source makes this the most critical lesson of the guide.
Okay.
You will be relying entirely on 4G cellular networks, primarily Geo or Airtel, which have blanketed the Godavari belt. But you cannot view a strong 4G signal or power backup as optional amenities. They are the absolute foundational pillars of your survival out there.
Which is why the guide insists on a 1 to 2 day exploration trip before you ever agree to rent a place.
Yes.
You can't trust a landlord telling you over the phone that the network is good. You can't even trust looking at the signal bars on your phone while standing on the cement road outside the house.
No, you have to physically step inside the prospective room and run a dedicated speed test app.
Right.
Because the same solid RCC concrete walls and iron rebar that protect you from the monsoon rains also act like a Faraday cage.
It's like trying to listen to someone whispering through a bank vault door.
That's exactly it.
The dense metal and cement literally absorb, block, and scatter the radio frequencies of the 4G signal before they can reach the antenna inside your laptop.
Precisely. You have to hunt for a house, preferably situated on a corner plot of the Jaganana grid.
Ah, a corner plot.
A corner plot naturally has fewer adjacent walls, meaning less physical obstruction for the cell tower signal, and better cross-ventilation to keep your hardware from overheating.
And you mentioned earlier that the network speeds can fluctuate based on the village schedule.
Yes, bandwidth is a shared physical resource. During the day, when the majority of the village is out working in the agricultural fields or at local jobs, the local cell tower might give you fantastic speeds. But you have to test it in the evening, too. When everyone returns home at 7 p.m. and hundreds of phones suddenly connect to that single tower to stream videos, your bandwidth can get aggressively throttled.
That makes sense.
You need to know exactly what your worst-case upload speed looks like.
And to combat the power fluctuations, the source mandates investing in your own hardware.
Yes.
You cannot just tether to your mobile phone all day. The phone's battery will degrade, the hardware will overheat, and it will intentionally throttle your speeds to save itself.
Right. It's not a long-term solution.
So you must budget for a dedicated 4G router.
And critically, that router must be plugged into a UPS and uninterruptible power supply,
Yeah.
or a small home inverter.
Oh.
When that local voltage sags because a nearby agricultural pump just kicked on, your UPS bridges the gap. Your laptop battery keeps your screen on, but your UPS keeps your 4G router transmitting.
Wow.
You are basically building a localized tech fortress inside a government housing colony.
So you've built this fortress of productivity. The UPS is humming. The 4G router is perfectly positioned by the window of your corner plot, and you are timing your showers to the Panchayat water schedule.
Living the dream.
But that level of constant environmental engineering requires serious daily effort, which forces us to ask, why build a tech bunker in Erikki-Revila?
That is the big question.
If you just want cheap rent, why not find a slightly more expensive but vastly easier 4,000 rupee apartment in a mid-sized city like Kurnool, where the fiber internet is already wired and the cafes actually exist?
Because the source document isn't just about minimizing expenses. It reveals a massive, long-term cultural and geographic payoff.
Oh.
You are positioning yourself for one of the most significant events in the Indian spiritual calendar, the Godavari Pushkaralu.
The Pushkar.
Yeah. For anyone unfamiliar, this is a monumental spiritual and cultural festival honoring the Godavari River. But it is not an annual holiday you can just mark on a calendar, is it?
No, it is governed by a deeply specific astrological mechanism.
Right.
It operates on a 12-year cycle. The timing is dictated by the orbit of the planet Jupiter, known as Brihaspati in Vedic astrology.
Okay.
Jupiter takes roughly 12 years to complete one full transit around the sun, moving through the 12 zodiac signs.
Mm-hmm.
When Jupiter enters the specific zodiac sign of Leo Simha Rasi, it is believed that the cosmic energy aligns with the Godavari River.
Oh, wow.
So for a period of 12 days, millions of pilgrims travel from across the country to bathe in the holy waters, perform ancestral rituals, and participate in this immense gathering.
And the timeline is the crucial hook here. The last Maha Godavari Pushkaralu occurred back in 2015.
Right.
We are rapidly approaching the culmination of the current 12-year orbit. The next major festival hits in 2027. Which is where the genius of the Erikki-Revila relocation strategy fully materializes.
Oh, so.
If you live in a city like Hyderabad or a town like Kurnool, attending the 2027 Pushkarams is a logistical mountain.
Oh, I can imagine.
You are competing with literally millions of other travelers for train tickets, bus seats, and wildly inflated hotel rooms. You are undertaking an exhausting, heavily congested journey just to reach the river.
But if you have spent the last few months living in a 2,500 Ruby Jaganana colony house in Erikki-Revila,
you are already inside the perimeter.
you possess the ultimate geographic advantage.
Exactly.
You are permanently stationed in the Godavari belt. On the morning the festival begins, you aren't fighting through a transit hub. You are just taking a short, breezy two-wheeler ride to the major riverside ghats.
Yeah.
Even better, your prolonged stay means you have acquired deep local knowledge. You know where the smaller, quieter, hidden ghats are, the ones the locals use.
Yes. Allowing you to experience the profound spiritual weight of the event without being crushed by the massive tourist crowds at the main bathing centers.
Mm-hmm.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it completely recontextualizes this entire relocation plan.
It really does.
This is no longer just a clever life hack about geographical arbitrage and saving rent money. It is a long-term lifestyle strategy.
Yeah.
You are deliberately aligning your hypermodern, fast-paced digital career with ancient regional geography and slow cosmic cycles.
It is the ultimate synthesis of eras. You are enduring the minor frictions of timed municipal water and power fluctuations specifically because you are holding your position, waiting for Jupiter to align with the river outside your window.
That is a wildly beautiful contrast.
Yeah.
You are sitting inside a state-funded concrete box, fine-tuning an artificial intelligence model on a silicon laptop protected by a battery backup, all in preparation for an astrological river festival that has been observed for centuries.
It perfectly encapsulates a very specific modern reality. The ancient past and the digital frontier are occupying the exact same geographic coordinates.
They really are.
So if you are actually going to pack your bags, leave the city, and attempt this rural integration, here is the actionable game plan the sources lay out.
Okay, let's hear it.
First, you must equip your phone with a reliable network speed testing app. Second, you do not sign anything remotely. You plan a physical 1 to 2 day scouting trip to the agricultural belt, utilizing the human networks at the local shops to find vacancies.
Right. Third, when you are walking the grid of a Jaganana colony, Prioritize those corner plots for the physical advantages of airflow and radio frequency penetration. And fourth, immediately allocate a portion of your rent savings into local redundancies, a UPS and a dedicated 4G router.
And the source does offer a slight concession. If your budget can stretch just a bit further, up to 3,000 or 3,500 rupees, you unlock slightly better amenities and potentially more stable infrastructure in the slightly larger towns along that same Godavari stretch.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But the core strategy remains the same.
The guide wisely advises a 1 to 3 month trial stay for fully uprooting your life. You have to physically test your own psychological tolerance for the quiet, the isolation, and the technical friction before you commit to the long wait for 2027.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though.
Okay.
Step back and look at the macro-level socioeconomic irony of what we just explored. You have state government initiatives, like the YSR housing scheme, pouring massive capital into building structured concrete grids, laying cement roads, and wiring electricity for local agricultural poverty alleviation.
A vital and necessary uplift for the rural population.
Absolutely. But entirely by accident. By building these planned grids with clear line of sight and solid roofs, the state is solving the exact physical barriers that previously kept remote tech workers trapped in expensive cities.
Wow.
They are accidentally laying the foundation for globalized tech work in the middle of paddy fields.
That's incredible.
Are we witnessing the birth of a new kind of domestic digital nomadism? Will the desperate, overlapping search for mental peace, decent 4G signals, and 2,500 rupee rent transform these quiet welfare colonies into the next highly sought-after remote work frontiers?
It challenges our entire concept of where high-level digital work can occur. I mean, if you were to drop everything, pack up your monitors and your router, and move to the Godavari belt tomorrow, what would your absolute non-negotiable amenities be? Could you tolerate the voltage drops and the total absence of urban convenience just for the promise of green fields and a front row seat to a cosmic alignment?
It really makes you rethink what a map is actually capable of showing you.
For sure.
Because out there, beyond the little digital red pins, the price sliders, and the helpful online filters, is an entire invisible world operating on its own physics and its own timeline. You just have to know how to walk the grid and find it. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.